In the Norse stories, when someone died in battle, they were sent to one of two places: Valhalla, the Hall of Odin, and Folkvanga, the Fields of Freya. In both locations, the men and women celebrate with food and mead until they are called to fight for the gods in the Battle of Ragnarok. But what happened if you didn't die in battle? What if you died of sickness or old age? Well, then you were sent to a third location, a dark hall in the middle of the cold realm Niflheim, the Hall of the Dead known as Hel. And once you entered Hel, there was no escape. Even the ruler of the dead was eternally forbidden to leave. But who is the ruler, you ask? Well, she is the only daughter of Loki and shares her name with the kingdom she rules, Hel, the Queen of the Dead. Hel's first appearance in Norse mythology and written history is in Snorri Sturluson's Prose Edda, written in the 13th century. There are some arguments that she appeared briefly in earlier works from the 9th, 10th, and 12th centuries, and also some arguments that she appears in the Poetic Edda, although these works could possibly be talking about the location and not the deity. Either way, Hel's biggest role in Norse mythology comes from Sturluson's work, where she is one of the three children of Loki and the giantess Angrboda. Hel and her brothers Jormungandr and Fenrir grow up in Jotunheim, the land of the giants, until one day Odin comes for them. A great prophecy was told to Odin, explaining that someday the three monstrous children of Loki would help bring destruction to the 9 realms during Ragnarok. And so Odin decided to change that outcome. He exiled Jormungandr to the Earth's ocean, kept Fenrir as a pet, and then banished and imprisoned Hel to Niflheim. Odin declared that Hel would gain authority over the 9 realms in the form of a caretaker. She was to supply lodging to all the souls that were sent to her, as well as those who died of sickness and old age. There, Hel could rule as Queen of the Dead, but she could never leave. Fitting her title, Hel was usually depicted as a woman split down the middle. One side of her body held beautiful rosy skin, while the other side held decomposing flesh, and made her rather downcast and fierce-looking. An important myth that Hel appears in takes place after the death of Balder, the god of light. Balder was the son of Odin and Frigg, and couldn't be harmed by anyone or anything in the 9 realms, except for the mistletoe plant. Eventually, because of Loki's manipulations, Balder died and was sent to Hel. Devastated with the loss of her son, Frigg asked the Aesir to go to Hel and request her son back from the Queen of the Dead, stating that whoever did so would earn all her love and favor. Hermodr, another son of Odin, volunteered and made his way to Hel on the 8-legged horse Sleipnir. Once he arrived, he found a great feast being celebrated in the halls of Hel, and at the center of that celebration was Balder. Even the Queen and the Dead loved Balder, for he was the most loved being in all the 9 realms. After staying the night, Hermodr had an audience with Hel and begged her to let Balder come back with him. He explained how everyone loved Balder and wept for his death. Intrigued with Hermodr's words, Hel stated, if all things in the world, alive or dead, weep for him, then he will be allowed to return to the Aesir. If anyone speaks against him or refuses to cry, then he will remain with Hel. Agreeing with Hel's condition, Hermodr took the message around the 9 realms, and so began the time of weeping as everyone cried for Balder. Everyone but one. Hermodr came up to a cave where the last being who had yet to weep called home. The cave was home to the giantess Thok, who refused to cry for Balder. She told Hermodr that the dead should stay dead, and that she never had any love for Balder when he was alive. Heartbroken that he couldn't accomplish Hel's condition, Hermodr made his way home. Little did he notice the evil grin on Thok's face, who transformed into Loki. After all, what Loki said was true. He never did love Baldur. Hel's last mention in mythology is during Ragnarok. Once it begins and the sea violently shakes, the ship known as Nagthar, which is made from the fingernails of the dead, will be released from its mooring. The giant Hrym will be steering the ship and will be joined by an army of giants. Loki will also join Hrym with an army of the dead, gifted to him by Hel. The ship will then ride the flood caused by Jormungandr to battle against the gods. On the battlefield, many will die, including Odin, Thor, Loki, Fenrir, Jormungandr, and many more. It's unclear what happened to Hel afterwards, since there's no textual reference to her death or future after Ragnarok. One possibility is that she died, since Baldur was able to walk out of Hel after Ragnarok and join the survivors. A second possibility is that she lived and decided to rule over the dead in the coming new world. And another possibility is that she abandoned her crown, living in peace somewhere in the new world, never having to fear what people thought of her because of prophecy. Either way, Hel plays an interesting role in Norse mythology. She isn't a main character, but rather plays a character in the shadows, which makes sense since her name means hidden. This could have been intentional since she is the queen of the dead, and death is always lurking in the background until suddenly it presents itself in front of you. Death can also explain her appearance. One moment a person can be beautiful and full of life, and then in the next, death can be sudden and take that life away. And there it is. I give you the wild mythology of Hel, the queen of the dead. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe. I have more videos on Norse mythology and other mythologies on the way, so don't forget to subscribe to keep updated. Well, until next time on Wild Mythology.